Hello and welcome to the P27 worksheet. In this case, we are being given 2 points and our job is to find the equation of the line from those 2 points. So this process probably has the most steps that we will actually have in our algebra prep class. So you want to make sure that you understand and jot down all of the steps that you need to follow to do this. To begin with, we need to understand that in our equation, we are looking for the slope and the y-intercept. When we do the slope and the y-intercept, the first thing we can find when we have 2 points is the slope, right? Because to find the slope, what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 y values and subtract them. We're going to take our 2 x values and subtract them. Or another way to think about this is what is our rise over our right. The y's are the rise numbers. And so if I'm going to try to figure out how far apart 4 and -4 are, I'm going to take 4 and minus -4. Well, if I'm not familiar with subtracting with negatives, then I want to double check that. If I go 4 minus -4, I get an 8. Okay? A lot of people will look at 4 minus -4 and get a 0. It is an actual 8. And then for our bottom numbers, we're going to go -1 minus -5. -1 minus -5 means we're going -1 plus 5. Ends up being 4 in this case. Double check on your calculator if you need to. 8 over 4 is 2. So we know our slope in this case is 2. Because we know the slope, we now have an m value. We can pick either ordered pair. We have an x value and a y value in here twice. I can pick either one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute for my y value, for my m value, and for my x value. And that means the only one I won't know is my b. And that's the key, is I want to find the b to be able to answer my question. I already know the m, need to find the b. So in this case, I'm going to choose, I like positive numbers as much as possible, and so I'm going to choose the first order pair. So I have a negative and a positive. It would work the exact same if I would choose these 2 points. But I want you to see that my y value here is 4, so I'm going to put a 4 in place of the y. My m value is 2, so I'm going to put a 2 in place of the m. My x value is -1 on the one that I chose, and so I'm going to make that a -1 and a plus b, and I got an algebra problem to solve for b. 4 is equal to 1, or 2 times -1 is -2 plus b. Going to add 2 to both sides, and I end up with a b value of 6. So I now know m and I know b. I can write my answer. My m value is 2. My b value is 6. There's my solution. All right, so the first thing we find is our slope. We're subtracting our y's on the top, our x's on the bottom. The y's are the rise. So -5 minus 4 is -9. My right number is -2 minus 4 is -6. I need to go and reduce that, and negatives are going to cancel out, so they both become positive. 9 over 6 will reduce to 3 over 2. I do want to leave it as an improper fraction, right? Divide them both in this case by a 3. I get a positive 3 over 2. So now when I go to y equal mx plus b, I'm going to pick one of the 2 ordered pairs. I'm going to choose the one that has the 2 positives. Just makes more sense to me. So I got a 4 is equal to, my m value is 3/2. My x value is 4. And I'm going to try to find my b. Now if you don't know what 3/2 times 4 is, use your calculator. 3/2 times 4. We get an answer of 6. You can also look at that as 1.5 times 4. 4 is equal to, these guys multiplied to equal 6 plus b. I'm going to minus 6 to both sides. I get -2 is equal to b. I now have my answer. I have my 3/2 for my x and a -2 for my y-intercept. In the case of number 5, to find my slope, -1 minus -5 is 4. 4 minus -3 is 7. So my slope is 4/7. Y equals mx plus b. my y value that I'm going to choose, in this case, I'm going to choose -1. I like the +4 that goes with it. So I go -1 is equal to, my slope is 4/7. I'm going to multiply that by 4 plus b. Now in this case, I get -1 is equal to, these guys make 16/7 together, plus b. When I go and minus 16/7 to both sides, probably going to want to use the fraction button on my calculator. The thing to remember here is a -1 over, -1 is really -7 over, so I'm going to end up with a b value of -23/7. Okay, I'll trust that you know how to use your calculator to do that one. So we end up with an answer of y is equal to 4/7x for my slope, and a y-intercept of -23/7. I would accept an answer of -3 2/7 for that answer as well. All right, last but not least, slope. -5 minus -3 is -2. -3 minus 3 is -6. This reduces to a positive, negative divided by negative is a positive, 1/3. Y is equal to mx plus b. I'm choosing the 3, -3, got more positives in it. My y value is -3. My slope is 1/3. My x value is 3. So I end up with -3 is equal to 1/3 of 3 is 1. When I minus 1 to both sides, I get a -4 for my b value. So I get an answer of y is equal to 1/3 x minus 4. Good luck on the evens. Send those in to me when you get them done.